called technology. It's XP10, I think. Lebanon, 1958 Chevy fleetside. I haven't heard of it, but just make sure that it's not a 1K. It's probably a 1K if it's a single stage, meaning you probably mixing it with some reducer or a thinner, and then it cures. Some of those primers are okay. But if you want to have a good foundation, I really recommend a 2K filler primer because you know that you can't go wrong with it. It doesn't matter what brand you use. There's a ton of brands out there, just like shoe brands. You know, you just test and trial and error. But for the most part, you know, primers are primers. And if you go with a cheaper brand, the more expensive, you're pretty much going to get the same result when it comes down to primers. Mr. Forrest Dryden says, hey, Tony, how long does body filler need to cure before using epoxy sealer? And thanks for the great info and loving the VIP training. Body filler, okay, if you mix it properly, you can sand it in like 20-30 minutes and you could prime it right after that. So literally within an hour, okay, of your body work, you could be priming. So it's not like you have to let it cure overnight or days or anything like that for body filler. If you mix it, if it's hard enough that you're sanding it and it's not sticking to your pad, it's ready for primer. Okay, so as soon as you finish shaping it with 80 grit, maybe you'll go down to like a 150 grit. You can go ahead and put your 2K filler primer over that and you're good to go. If you have any scratches or whatever, your primer will most likely fill them up. If you have any deep pinholes or gouges, that's the time where you're going to be putting your glaze putty on top of that. Okay, then you could cut that down. Let me know if that answered your question. Let me know if that's good. Because the main reason heating product is to change viscosity. Wouldn't it be the same to use a viscosity cup and add reducer? Mill thickness will be a factor, but will it be a big factor? I don't think it will be a huge factor, buddy, Jeff. That's just my opinion. You know, I don't like to get so technical when it comes to these types of things, but yeah. Medina says, can you spray an engine with regular two-stage paint like they do at Kendig and not have it burn? Yep, you could. I would actually recommend, instead of a two-stage, just go with a single stage, bro. Easier. You'll just put 2 coats on it and you're done. I would use a single stage if you're going to be spraying an engine. Okay, or you could even just get high temp rattle can paint. That's what I did with my Chevelle, my 350 engine. You know, before I put it in, it was a brand new motor. I just sprayed it a different color. I wanted a red, I believe. Was it red or black? No, it was black. So yeah, I would just go with a single stage, bro. Joshua Garvin says, working on my 07 Titan, deep scratches and chips using OEM K11 paint. It's my first paint job. I painted small parts and panels before, but never entire truck. Any recommendations or suggestions? Yeah, absolutely. First recommendation is get some free training at LearnAutoBodyAndPaint.com. I'm putting the link right down below right now. So make sure you do that. There's a lot of information in that guide. Okay. But I would say just take your time, bro. Take your time. If you have experience doing parts and pieces, then you could also break the truck paint job into 2 sections. Like do the bed first shot, see how it looks, see how you feel, and then do the cab. If you're not doing anything crazy as far as a candy, metallic, or pearl. Not metallic, not regular metallic. You could shoot regular metallic at 2 separate times from an OEM can paint, can mixed up paint and not have any issues. But if I'm talking about adding metal flake to an inner coat or clear coats, then you're going to want to make sure you have the correct mixing ratios and you know what you're doing. So you don't get like maybe too much metallic on your bed and not enough on the cab. You know what I'm saying? But Joshua, definitely sign up to Learn Auto Body and Paint. To the free training at least. There's going to be a special offer to join VIP if you want to. If not, no big deal. Whatever. We're just here to help you guys. Tim Bartley says it's a single stage. It's a single stage where you pour out of can, no hardener added. From what I understand, just want to use it. I have to resend it again. Okay. when you go and buy single stage at paint shops, sometimes you can, well, most times you can buy single stage without hardener, but because it'll cure on its own. But I recommend buying hardener for it. Buy an activator for it. Okay, this way you know it's going to dry rock solid. Okay, because they say when you're at the paint shop, they say, hey, you can spray this stuff without adding in hardener, just reducer and your single stage mixture. But I don't like to do that. I like to add hardener. Okay, it's only going to be an extra 50, 60 bucks, maybe less, to get a quart of activator, hardener, activator, same thing, different names, and then mix it in. Okay, it's going to have a mixing ratio for you depending on what paint brand you use. Mix up your hardener in it and shoot it that way. We're going to be doing another single stage paint job on the 99 Chevy Express van. So we're going to go through that same process, and that's going to be documented, also uploaded to YouTube as well as VIP, as far as the more detailed instructions go. But then we do have single stage paint jobs A to Z in VIP available for you to watch as well. So what is the best way to remove concrete off my truck without damaging the paint? Also on my window, it's thin. Thanks. God, that's a tough one, man. Concrete. Holy crap. That's dang. I would say you could try to just like scrape it off with a putty knife. Man, that's tough. Is it a lot of concrete? You might be able to wash some of it off. The other thing you could do is just try to sand it off. Hopefully it's not like huge. I would just try to peel it off as much as possible. But dang, if you have light concrete on there, then you could probably sand it off with like 800 grit, then go to 1500 grit and buff it out. But does anybody have any experience with that? I've never came across concrete on my car or on cars. Never came across it. Anybody have any ideas on how to get rid of concrete? Let me know in the chat. See if we can help them out. Another note to my Jetta single stage 2K paint is like 1 year old now. Would you think if I scuff to 400 and clear it, will it have a nice effect, or should I just do basic clear coat? Dude, you could sand it down. I would go over 800 grit. I wouldn't go over 400. You can scuff it down with 800 and clear over that. You would get a good paint job with that. You could lay clear coat on top of 800. It will come out nice. So it depends. You could also just scuff it down with 400 and just put a new coat of base coat clear coat on it. Somebody said try steaming the concrete. Frank says for concrete, I think a mild acid, like phosphoric, barkeeper's friend would love to help remove it. I don't know. That's a good question, bro. I've never came across that issue. Concrete is bad. Try to soak it a lot, then use scuff sponge. You could maybe even try the 3M scuff pads. Okay, the Scotch Brite pads. And then if you cause any, I would go with the what color is that? Like a red, purple color. Because it's a finer grit, the maroon color, and then maybe wet sand after that with 800, go back down to 1200, then 1500, then try to buff that out. Your body filler on pitted rust. I would say sand everything down. Okay, you got pitted rust, get it down to metal, and then I would basically shoot some epoxy primer on top of that, followed by a 2K filler primer, and then you could do your body work. Okay, depending on how much you filled, you might not need to glaze. You might have to, but you don't have to sand your epoxy. Okay, you could just let that flash. And when I say flash, you let it cure, you let it dry for an hour or so, give or take, your epoxy. And then you can spray 2K filler primer on top of that and go from there. Okay, if you got to scuff up to do some body filler, you could put it on top of that. If you have to put some glaze putty, you can go on top of that, cut it, block it, reprime if needed, and then you're pretty much ready for paint. Okay, after that. So hopefully that helps David. The whole life for concrete, just wash it and maybe use a scrub brush. There you go, bro. Or replace it. My passenger side door hinge is bent, took out the door and it didn't line up when I tried to put it back on. It was hit at one time. So your pillar, your rocker panel, your door pillar basically got dented. You might just need a come along, I don't know, or a porter power, little hydraulic porter power, you know, small set that you could brace from the inside of the car, pump it and push that pillar out. That's probably all you need to do to just get your door to get aligned. And then depending on the crinkling and the creasing on your door jamb, you might be able to just sand it, body work it, fill it, and just repaint your the inner door jamb. It's not that hard to do that, to get a door to line up. If it's a mild hit, you know, pushed in an inch or two, even 3 inches, you could pretty much line it up pretty easily. And we do have some sample videos and some videos of using a porter power jack, hydraulic jack combination in some of our VIP videos, pushing out quarter panels, aligning doors and whatnot. We do have videos in there. So if you are VIP, Mike, I definitely recommend to check those out. Arnold says, Tony, what do you think about Speedcoat brand primer? I don't know. I heard some pretty good reviews on YouTube. Haven't tried the product myself, but if people are saying it's okay, it's probably okay. You know, maybe I'll get to the point one day where we use some of their products, but I'm happy with my Acme clear coat. It's inexpensive. It shines really well, hardly any dieback, and I'm happy with that as of now. Again, I always say this: paint brands, clear coat brands, primer brands, sandpaper brands, spray guns are like a pair of shoes. You know, sometimes you're going to try on Adidas, you're going to try on Nike, you're going to feel like, oh, these Nikes fit pretty well, or these New Balances fit pretty well, or I like the Reeboks, or you might like a couple different brands. You know, you just got to try them out. You know, you just try them out. You might like a couple different brands, you know, so just don't be afraid to try brands out. So Alano, this is the Gun Bud Ultra lighting system. It fits on any spray gun. It's universal, so you can put on any spray gun, cup, gravity feed, or siphon. I've had it on a siphon gun, basically pointing up, and it works the same. So you could put this sucker on a gravity feed, a mini gun. It's adjustable, and they end up looking like this on your spray gun. And it eliminates all the shadows. I've painted a complete car in a pitch black garage with this thing, with great results. So they retail for, I think they're like $59.95 on Amazon, eBay. Check them out. But we'll send you one for free. Just email ninjasupport@LearnAutoBodyAndPaint.com. Ninja support at LearnAutoBodyAndPaint.com. I'm not going to type it in, but just ninja support at LearnAutoBodyAndPaint.com. Tell them you won the free Gun Bud ultra lighting system on the call. Yeah, the X27 is a great gun. This is the X27 right here, the Atom X27. And I actually, you know, this is the newest edition, the Blue Moon, the X88 Blue Moon. Sprays at a little lower pressure, but as far as overall, I kind of like this one better, the X27. But whatever, a lot of people like these. This is the Blue Moon X88. I've sprayed with this many times already. And then this color version is the Infinity. This is the low volume, low pressure X27. It's more of the matte silver finish. The chrome body is the high volume, low pressure. This is like a silver matte color. So we are in the middle of sanding these decals out. Okay, because all of these flames were literally in the paint job with the decal. That outline that you see, that's actually a vinyl pinstripe that we have to sand out. So we're gonna get this thing all sanded out. All these panels here, as you can see, and we're gonna be doing like a tangerine orange candy on this sucker. The clear that I used on here was an Advantage clear, and I wasn't really happy. Has a little dieback. It's not the glossiest, and I don't want to have to buff out motorcycles or small little project paint jobs that I do. I want to make sure that I lay it on nice, put a lot of clear on it, use a good clear. So that's it. Now, after you paint it, you're done. You don't have to worry about color sanding and buffing. You know, cars, I don't mind because you got bigger panels. It's just a pain in the butt to you know, color sand and buff little panels like this, especially when you got like little protruding areas like where the bolts are, because it's easy to burn. You can burn through easy and all that, you know. Have a good one, guys. Thank you for everything, and I'll see you next week. Thank you. Peace out.